What you can do is figure out how to work the clicker. Yeah, how to get it into presentations. Yeah, will you start me in the presentation mode up there? Yes.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Still got a couple rolling in here, so give everybody a chance to find a seat. Appreciate you for coming out. Who came out to yesterday's presentation? Okay, a few of you. How many of you? This is the only one you've been able to make this week. A few. Okay, that's good. That's okay. That's what we do multiple days. So thank you for coming out. This is a really good one. So if this is the only one that you've been able to make, you picked a good one. It's called Creating Your Elevator Speech, and our presenters today are Kim Matras and Darren Wilburn from Northwestern Mutual. There's Kim. She's down here in the front. So I think Darren's going to be doing most of the talking, right? Probably. Okay. Yeah. Northwestern's a great partner of ours. And I think they will, at the end of the presentation, tell you a little bit about some of the positions they have for students. But be sure to ask lots of questions. And I think you're going to get a lot out of this. Take notes. And with that, I'll turn it over to Darren.
All right. Thank you, Travis. What we're going to talk about today is creating your elevator speech. And what that really is kind of just how can you tell your story? I'm sure everyone's asking you kind of what your plans are right now. How many people are close to graduating? Yeah. How many people, family members, who ever ask you what you're going to do, kind of what your plans are? Is we all getting that right now? Okay. So, this is a way to, again, tell your story in a pretty brief amount of time. The idea is that you're able to kind of tell your story, tell what you're about, what kind of you're passionate about, what you want to do in a ride up on an elevator. So how long you got on that? 30 seconds, a minute? Make sense? So that's really what we're going to spend some time doing today. And a lot of what we're going to talk about, guys, with creating your elevator speech, it's kind of some of that warm, fuzzy stuff. We're going to talk about vision. What do you want to do? Believe it or not, I was a college student a short while ago. Well, maybe not a short while, 10 years. So it seems like a short time. But anyways, so I know what it's like, to kind of be in that transition of we're here studying, and now we got to go out and get in the real world. So that transition from we're studying to real world is, kind of tough sometimes. But you guys are going to hear a lot of people talking about experience when you're going to interview for jobs and different things like that. So again, the disadvantage you guys have is that you don't have any experience, and that's okay. But if you can kind of, with creating your elevator speech, if you can kind of tell your story, tell what you're passionate about, and people can feel that, I think people will respond to it. And I think sometimes that's even more important than, maybe having experience or other things like that. You guys got a lot of energy, which is very good. So just to tell you guys a little bit about Northwestern before we start, and I'm terrible at talking on a microphone, so I apologize. Northwestern Mutual, we've been helping people plan for financial security for over 160 years. The cool thing is in West Virginia, we've been here over 150 years. So of those 160, we've been in West Virginia as a firm, over 150 of those. What our role is with our firm, we're comprehensive financial advisors. So what we really do is have conversations with people about their goals, their objectives, and we talk about where they want to be and financially. And we kind of turn around and deliver financial plans back to them that show you, hey, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing today with no changes and kind of push that out into the future, are you going to get to where you want to be? So that's really what we do. Now, you facilitate that, the implementation of that plan with insurance products and investment products. So That's in a nutshell what we do. So, we're ranked 109th on the Fortune 500 list. Just as a asset manager and a broker dealer, we have over $238 billion in assets. So that does make us not only the largest direct life insurer in the country, we're also a top 10 in terms of independent broker dealers, or asset managers. So that's kind of neat. And here's the thing that I think is pretty cool. We have more than 6,000 financial advisors or financial reps nationwide. Who's a college athlete in here? Okay, I was too. Just at West Virginia Wesleyan, so don't boo me out of the room, any of you football guys. So 1 in 5 of our advisors are former student athletes. It makes sense. It's a competitive career. It's very similar to what you're doing as an athlete, so it's a good fit. And also, this is something that Kim will help us talk a little bit about later. We have a top 10 ranked internship annually. So we actually have someone here from our internship, Brett Harvey. So he's started the process of going through that internship now. And again, it's a good experience to whether you become a career advisor with Northwestern or you go to do something else, you get a lot of good training and it's a good program to go through. So that's a little bit about us. So let's talk a little bit about an agenda here. We're going to talk a lot about what is an elevator speech and what isn't. And we're going to talk about, how you can kind of create your own. We got a little homework for you that you guys can fill out on your own to kind of help you. And we'll talk about taking the next steps, kind of how you put this in practice for yourself. Make sense? So what is an elevator speech? It's a 30-second introduction that highlights your strength and skills. So again, it's making your point quickly. This is, you meet someone, at a networking event, you're riding an elevator, you're talking and passing. This is something that you can kind of tell someone briefly to where they're going to know, okay, this is what this person is all about. It focuses on who you are, your passions, your motivations, and your goals. Guys, focus on that, okay? Focus on those things. We all have those. So it's kind of like a commercial, if you think about it, for you and who you are. So a few do's and don'ts. Focus on what drives you, first and foremost. For me personally, what drives me today is no different than when I left college. And I'll relate some of this stuff back to me personally because, that's through my experiences. I know what I've been through. So, the thing that's been pretty consistent in my life through going and getting an education and being in the workforce is I really wanted to help people. I wanted to then, and I still want to now, okay? Now, when I was graduating college, I didn't know really what helping people or being a resource for people and impacting others, I didn't know what that meant, and that's okay. But what I found is that, I took that desire to want to help people and turned it into a career where I get to. So if you guys can kind of latch on to that one thing that really gets you excited, whether it's, the athletes in here, whether it's coaching others. A lot of my desire to help others is because being an athlete, I was around a lot of good coaches. I had coaching experience, so I liked helping people, liked teaching people. So that's what really got me excited. Everybody sitting in here has got something that they get excited about. So when you're talking about your elevator speech, again, you want to focus on that mainly. Whether it's helping and serving others, whether it's leading others, or it's something that's kind of outwardly focused, not about you. Look into the future. Be real and speak in your normal voice. Okay? Don't go into professional voice. Hi, my name's Darren Wilburn. I would really like a job at your firm, or however people talk when they try to be professional. don't do that. Be yourself. However you say things, how you would say it is how you want to deliver it, okay? Because people pick up on that kind of phoniness very quickly, okay? So just be yourself, okay? Because a lot of people, try not to. When you're going through the interview process, and this stuff, goes through interviewing, anything. Be yourself, be genuine, because people pick up on that. Don't focus on your accomplishments. Don't ride up on the elevator and tell them how your first team all conference, how you 4.0 GPA. Don't laundry list that. That's kind of not the time for that. Don't talk only about the past, because again, when you're doing this elevator speech and you're kind of giving your commercial, it's all about the future. It's where you want to be. So don't kind of focus on the past. And again, don't go to that kind of fake professional voice, however you think, kind of people talk in that setting. And again, this needs to be about your passion, okay? And what you're excited about. I don't care if you're interviewing for a job or introducing yourself. If you're passionate about something, then people will pick up on that. And when you're talking to people about, possibly wanting a job and going down that road, Kim and I do interviews weekly, okay? Passion and that connection, okay? Somebody being genuine, that comes through. And when you're going through that process, people pick up on that more than your resume, more than your experiences, things like that, okay? It's a connection with other people. And if you have that passion, people are going to want you on their team. They're going to want you as part of their firm. Oh. Thank you.
Sorry. You're doing great. I just wanted to.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I mean, we worked hard to get this PowerPoint, so why not use it? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we build an elevator speech. So there's kind of 5 pieces that we look at when we're building that speech. It should be all about you. It should focus on impact. It should be slow and steady with your delivery. When we're talking about the world being your elevator, that means you need to share it with people. Okay, not just in a professional setting. When those folks at your family functions, at church, when you're out in public or asking you what you want to do, tell them this is the time to use that. Okay, and practice it. That kind of the last 2 kind of tie into each other. Practice it. Tell people. So again, that first part is it should be all about you. A lot of us have been taught that we shouldn't talk about ourselves, and it might not be comfortable for us to. But in this situation, this is the time when it is all about you. Because again, when you're riding that elevator up to an interview with a potential employer, or you're at a networking function, if you're not going to tell them about you, no one else is. So again, this is a time to where it's okay for it to be all about you. It is okay to toot your own horn, because if you don't, nobody else is. Okay? Don't be ashamed of that. The second is it should focus on impact. 60 Minutes aired a segment at a white-collar job fair. One of the interviewees was a laid-off Wall Street secretary. She looked straight into the camera and said with total conviction, "I can make any boss shine." Okay? Now, if you think about that, remember how we were talking about this should be in your own speech. It shouldn't be in, kind of professional speech or something like that. Through this segment, this was done during 2008 when a lot of people were out of work. You had one lady with a lot of experience that with a lot of confidence just said, listen, anyone that makes me a part of their team, I can make them shine. That's the type of things that people connect with. She's being honest, okay? She's not, I can make people shine. That's not fancy. It's not worded up. It's very simple and to the point. She's being very direct. Listen, if you give me a shot, I'll make you better, okay? So for her, again, that's very comfortable speech. So again, she's being herself, being genuine. And I can guarantee you that that lady didn't stay unemployed for long. Slow and steady, okay? This is kind of like your delivery, okay? So when you're going through this and you're talking with someone, it's okay to be nervous, you're going to. Guys, I talk for a living, okay? I meet with clients every day, and I'm basically paid to have conversations for a living. With that, I still get nervous. When I get nervous, I have a tendency to talk very, very fast, okay? So even with myself being very comfortable talking in front of people, I can still get ramped up when I'm nervous. So understand that, and again, just know that you got to slow down. Because if I was having a conversation with Kim, we talk every day, I wouldn't talk a mile a minute. I'd talk very slow. It would be very casual. And that's how you want it to come off when you're kind of giving these speeches with folks. When you're telling your story to someone else, you don't want to be so nervous and talking so fast that they don't get anything, okay? So you want to have that tone of voice and that speech language that you would have with a friend, okay? Because again, if you have that and it sounds genuine, people connect to it. People want to be around you. Because again, you're genuine, you're being honest. So again, it's sometimes not what you say, it's how you say it, okay? So that's very important. Again, the better you get at this comes from practice, okay? Being slow and steady, okay? You got to practice it. So again, how we're getting into this in a minute, the more you practice this and the more you kind of know your own story, how you want to tell it, and the more you share it with others, if someone asks you, again, on that elevator up to a job interview or something like that, it's going to be very natural for you. You're not going to think about it. You're just going to share it with them, just like you would Kim, just like you would your friend, just anybody. And again, that's what people connect to. Because again, people, like we all, think about the telemarketer that calls your phone. Well, does anybody take phone calls on their phone anymore? Anybody in here? Show of hands, if somebody calls your phone right now, who answers it? Okay, so we still got some people that answer the phone. Okay. But has anybody ever got a call from a telemarketer? Okay. That tone of voice when they answer the phone. Hi, Mr. Wilbur. This is such and such from such and such. That kind of sing-songy, kind of telemarketer voice. Okay? People pick up on that. Every time we answer the phone and we hear a telemarketer, we can tell in 2 seconds what they're there about. Okay? Because again, it's their tone of voice. It's not genuine, it's phony. So again, you got to practice this stuff. You got to be yourself. Because again, people connect to that. And, when we're looking at the world as your elevator and practice, these two go hand in hand. When you guys are at career fairs, I don't care if it's a job you don't want or a job you do want, just share your story with people. Go on interviews, share your story with them, share it with your family members. Turn those situations into where, again, you're with family, you're with friends, and they're asking you what you're going to do, what your story is. Use it as an opportunity to practice, okay? Because, again, the more you practice it, the more natural it's going to feel when you really want to share your story with others. Guys, this is an example of a of an elevator speech. So what we're seeing here, we're seeing Mary. She's introducing herself. She's talking about, kind of her story now. Hey, this is what I'm doing. And here's that part that's really important. She's talking about what makes her excited. She gets really energized by helping people to be their best. Okay? Whether it's on the basketball court, wherever. Okay? So Mary really likes to help people. So, and then she's telling you kind of where she wants to go after. All right? So this is something that you can say in 15, 20 seconds to someone. We're not listing off accomplishments. We're not doing anything, kind of laundry listing anything. She's just telling someone who she is, what's her story now, and kind of what she wants to do in the future. Okay? This is pretty similar, to be honest, to what my elevator speech would have sounded like coming out of college. Very similar. I was a college athlete. I played football all my life and other sports. I didn't really know anything else other than playing sports and going to school. So, if you would have asked me, it would have sounded very similar. Hi, my name is Darren Wilburn. Going to West Virginia Wesleyan right now, political science major, graduating in the spring. Been playing football up there for the past 4 years. I really like to help people, and I like to coach people. So ultimately, I want to find, an outlet for me to share my passion of helping others and, my talents for working with other people in a positive way. So it's pretty simple, okay? Mine today is different, because I'm not finishing up school. I'm a financial advisor now. So, but, a lot of that's still the same. Hi, I'm Darren Wilburn. I'm a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. What really gets me excited is helping others and helping them be better stewards of their finances. And what I really want to do in the future is grow my practice to where I'm impacting as many people in the Kanawha Valley as possible, not only through my practice, but through serving others in my community as well. So, it's just, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm excited about. That's my story. Okay? So, you can say that to anybody. Okay? So, that's an example of a pretty good elevator speech. And again, it's short, it's sweet, it's very direct. You're being very upfront about what you want to do. But guys, the first step with this whole thing is doing a little bit of that warm, fuzzy work and thinking about a vision for yourself. Okay? That's kind of, you can't make this up. You can't tell someone your story and talk about where you want to be in the future if you haven't kind of made a vision for it. Okay? So, again, the warm, fuzzy, the kind of hokey part of all this is have a vision for yourself and where you want to go. This is almost, a vision statement as well. So it begins with your vision, being really honest with yourself about what excites you and what you want to get up and do every day. Again, not career-wise, but what you want to do. And telling people about it.
So we have a worksheet up here. Anyone that wants to dig a little deeper, just come up after we're done and grab one. It kind of walks you through the steps so you can start developing your own passion, your own vision. Just come up, grab one.
All right. Now, some things that you can do today is you can start to put this together. And again, it doesn't take anything but a little bit of time. It starts with brainstorming, vision. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And you can start to put together your elevator speech. The second thing is practice. I can't say it enough. Practice. Tell everybody. Our number at the office, 304-342-8117. Ask for Darren Wilburn. Call me up and tell me. I don't care. If you want to practice, call the office. I'll listen. Okay? But just the last thing is make sure the info on your resume lines up with kind of where you're saying. Don't say, I've done this or this is what I'm doing right now if you're not really doing it, obviously. But, just make sure that, your resume and what you're kind of talking about kind of sync up. Well, guys, this is all we really have as far as material. We'll take a couple minutes and I'll answer any questions you guys have, kind of relating to this topic. And then I'm going to turn it over to Kim because we would like to talk with you guys a little bit about our internship program. So obviously, if you would like to learn more about Northwestern Mutual, any kind of postgraduate career opportunities or the internship program, you can click on, well, you're not going to have that, but you can go to northwesternmutual.com, careers. There's kind of the postgraduate career section and the internship program. And we'll kind of turn it over to Kim here in just a second. But before we do, does anyone have any questions? Any questions on anything?
What happens if the elevator pitch is too long, or maybe it's just too short, or maybe you want to know a little bit more about this?
Okay, you want to know a little bit more about the person, how? Like as the interviewer, or?
Let's say I tell you I'm done with my elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that my thing as a person is I want to grow every day. That's my goal. I want to be a better person than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
What happens if you're still, I'm done, but yet you're still like, well, explain yourself.
Well, I don't think if, first of all, you need to be connected enough to what you're saying to where, yeah, if you're on that elevator, if you're walking with someone and talking, and you say, yeah, I want to grow every day. I want to find, a place to put my, time and effort to where I'm continuously growing. If they say, tell me more about that, you just need to be connected enough to it to tell them what that means. Okay? Do you have an idea what that will mean for you?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it can't be fluff. You're not kind of the whole thing is it's not. I know it kind of sounds that way, but it's not fluff. If you're going to tell someone, yeah, I want to be, I want to be somewhere where I can grow every day. That's very important to me. You need to be prepared to answer that question. Tell me more about that, or why. Okay? Here's the thing, if you're not connected to that, if you don't really believe it or if it's not important to you, then obviously you'll have trouble answering that question. So I don't know. I want to grow every day. That's what I want to do. That's not the answer. So just be prepared for, yeah, if your elevator pitch is good, people probably will ask you, tell me more. If someone asks you that, tell me more about that, or why do you, what about that gets you excited? Why do you get excited about that? That's a good thing. If someone wants to know more than that, again, that's a positive. And again, that's a way for you to share even more, about that. So, but yes, be prepared to share that, and just know in your mind, hey, this is why that's important to me. Any other questions? Go ahead.
How good was Brett Harvey's elevator speech?
How good was Brett's? Brett was one of the, obviously one of the best interns that went through our interview process. And here's the thing. What we connected to, again, was a lot of what I talked about. passion, sincerity, all that stuff, that came through. We weren't really interested, necessarily in, really what was on his resume, different things like that. So, just using Brett as an example, we did, and Kim can vouch for this, we connected with, again, there was a genuineness there was a sincerity there, and you could tell that he was excited about this and wanted to do this. So, again, that means a lot, even more than, I didn't look at Brett's resume. That's bad. She did, but I didn't, okay? Because, again, it didn't concern me. We had a connection. Kim?
Can I take part of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't really need it, but I'll take it. Also, I think Brett was also really confident, so I think that goes along with what Darren's been saying about practicing and not just rehearsing some speech, but being confident and you're talking about yourself. I think that's the most important thing. When I interview people, like he said, we interview people every day. But when somebody comes in and you know they're in the room and they're confident and they're like, hey, I'm Kim, I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment for Northwestern Mutual, and they look at you with that confidence, I think that really says a lot. And that's something that Brett has, that's something all of our advisors have. I look for that every day, is that confidence. Tell me why are you here, and why do I want to talk to you? I think that's really important.
Yeah. Good. Any other questions about anything?
What advice would you give for a phone interview compared to like a regular interview?
A phone interview compared to a regular interview. Now, for me, that's difficult, okay? Because I like eyeball to eyeball. I like getting knee to knee with people, okay? And kind of being able to read people. So phone interviews are tough, okay? The toughest part is that, again, the communication's not any different. You're going to still convey, whether you're kind of telling your story through your elevator speech or you're going through that interview process, it's not going to be any different. The hard part is reading people. Again, you're not seeing somebody's face. You're not reading their body language, to see if if you're with someone, you're seeing if they're leaning in, if they're making eye contact with you. So a lot of that stuff kind of tells you, hey, they're listening to me, I'm not boring them, so you can connect. And so, yeah, phone interviews are hard because, again, you're not going to get that feedback. Does that make sense? But again, the way you communicate is not really any different. I think what you need to be mindful of, and this is something that I struggle with because I don't do a lot of phone interviews anymore, but I do a lot of phone meetings, okay? And, my tendency is to where I can't read people is to talk more, okay? So just be mindful of that. Like when you're going through an interview, if you hear a little silence or something like that, don't be, overly alarmed and try to fill that silence with more speech. Make sense? Okay. Any other questions? Again, on anything?
Give it up for Darren, y'all.
All right.
Good job.
So yeah, I'm going to let Kim talk a little bit about our internship program and kind of close up.
Thank you. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, guys. Just real quick, we do have a really fabulous internship program. Northwestern Mutual, you heard Darren talk about as a financial advising company. You don't necessarily need to have any financial background. The way I describe as sort of my elevator speech for our internship program is that it's really a sales and marketing internship in the field of finance. So don't think, well, I don't know anything about finances. I'm out. What I really look for in my interns are people who can talk to people, who can market themselves, and people who can build relationships. Because that's really what this business is about. I can teach you the rest of it. I can teach you how to build a financial plan for someone, but I can't teach you how to like talking to people. Does that make sense? So if you guys are sitting there thinking, like, I don't want to sit behind a desk all day. I want to have a career where I'm out talking to people, out in my community, like Darren. Darren's never sitting at his desk in his office, ever. If he is, he's not doing his job. Like, he should be out talking to people, meeting people, and our interns do the same thing. So our interns really do what a financial advisor does. They are licensed to do so. They meet their own clients. They build their own market. and they begin their business as a college financial representative while they're still in school. So that's exactly what our interns do, is exactly what Darren does every day. Darren is our college unit director, which means he's your mentor in the internship program. It is a competitive process. We don't hire or contract a ton of interns. I want the right person. I want it to be a good fit for you and for us. If you guys are interested in hearing any more about it, you can come up. I have a ton of information that I could give you. I'm happy to set up interviews if anyone wants to hear more details about what we do and how you guys can do it. We're really looking for juniors and seniors. So if any of you guys are in that situation, even if you're graduating this year, it's a really good opportunity to start out as an intern and then convert over to a full-time advisor. We are actually number 2 internship in the country. We just moved up this year, so really exciting. It is hands-on. You are not going to be filing, getting people coffee, anything like that. I think it's a really good experience. If you guys are, anyone's interested, I'm here. I have business cards up here. Don't be afraid. Come hang out and talk to us. We'll be here. Does anyone have any questions? You guys good? Thank you all for having us.
Hey guys, just a real quick before y'all go, make sure you turn your survey in at the end. And they're going to hang out here for a couple minutes, so please feel free to come up. They got those worksheets. Remember that, so people get one of those worksheets. But thanks again for coming out. Give them there if you can.